Hello, everyone. This is Rachel Beth Aarons, better known as What a Music Geek, or Lady in the Blue Box. If you pay attention to my WordPress blog, I know I haven't been online in too long because I've been busy with schoolwork. It is middle of November, which means in 2 days it will be Thanksgiving. Sadly enough, I won't be online anytime after Wednesday morning. This is the one time only that I have internet, and I had to pay my dad a little bit of cash so I could stay online for a week. So, yeah, this is really, really interesting. Um, just one thing, I kind of have to talk quiet because my parents are upstairs sleeping. I don't want to disturb them. And this is the only place where I can actually get a really sorry. Anyway, as I was saying, uh, 2 days it'll be Thanksgiving, which means my YouTube post of Midnight Mania is set to be recorded, not aired, on November 23rd, which is this Friday. I can't believe how fast it's coming. I've got so much work to do on my costume, especially since I haven't even sewn the ribbons to this is frazzling. I have to do so much work within the next 3 days. This is gonna be this is gonna be interesting. But the good news is I have finished most of my classwork for this week. I still have a few projects to do. I have to do my group project. That's basically halfway done. As long as I can reach out to my group members and say, "Hey, can you finish the power?" And via email, hopefully by Sunday night, um, because it's actually due Monday. It's due right after Thanksgiving. I just frazzles me. Um, just Yeah, and then I have another group project for a psychology class, and I also have a presentation that I have to do myself in person for my online class, and it is a class I'm failing, which is the medical lab class, learning about blood glucose and microbiology. Oh my god. Anyway, just an announcement. Um, my parents, I tried to get my parents' consent so I could do bubbles for asthma and raise money for the American Lung Association. And they pretty much said that my parents didn't appreciate um, my asking if they could um, be used for their story of why I wanted to support the American Lung Association. So this is why um, I can't continue the Bubbles for Puppet, and I pretty much had to delete a couple things about it, uh, telling all about how asthma affects people, if it affects everyone, and it affects my father mostly. Um, my dad pretty much said that he wants to keep his medical history private, and he also says that yeah, since his last hospital visit this year, he's lost 60 pounds. He's down to 240. So I guess that's pretty good. He's looking thinner and thinner and healthier as as the day moves on. And moving on with that, dad is getting better. I assure you, he is getting better. He's taking his medicine. He's starting to eat healthier, and he a little bit walking around. There are a lot of stairs in this house, but he may be in a little bit of pain, but he's getting over it. He's dealing with it. So there's nothing to worry about. I just thought it would be nice to do something helpful for um, for the cause for respiratory diseases. Especially my best friend from WTC, Tiffany's mother, has a lung condition, and we recently found out that she's very, very sick. And Tiffany, I don't know what happened to her, but the situation is problematic. And Tiffany is trying to reach out to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for her uh, fundraiser campaign on Facebook as her birthday fundraiser. And I guess it has to do with her family, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to go into. Uh, um, I've pretty much said uh, I'm just going to let her deal with it. I'm going to remain private about this, but I will say this on the matter as far as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is concerned. I had a friend from the conventions that I go to. I went to Farpoint, Shore Leave, and Balticon, and at least at two of those friend Robbie Greenberger. Robbie, and hang on, I think I still have his photo. Yeah, I can get it. Hang on. Uh, this is Robbie, guy on the right. Um, Robbie was a very dear friend of mine, one of the very dear friend from the conventions, and the sad thing is, his family kind of had this uh, hereditary genetic mutation where it kind of runs in the family that their their white blood cells are a little high, and we found and when he was only 19, he was found out when he was 19 that he had leukemia, and he had been battling it for about a year, and right around shore leave in 2008, his leukemia came back out of remission. And in a month, Robbie actually beat leukemia. But sadly enough, he didn't have immune system left, and he got a lung infection. I think it was pneumonia. And very, very, it was with complete heartbreaking depression that at the age of 20, just a month after my birthday, on August 14th, 20 on 2000, sorry. Yeah, I can't speak. August 14th, 2008, Robbie died due to complications from Robbie has been a con baby since I was a toddler. I've been going to conventions since I was a baby, or practically since my mother was pregnant with me, actually. And and basically my parents have been going to conventions since my dad graduated from high school and started going to college. My mom didn't start going to shore leave or Farpoint until she met my father in college, and they got married before senior year. Um, but anyway, I really hate the fact that, you know, leukemia is a very aggressive type of cancer. And he would have been 30 years old. And he was like one of the coolest dudes at the conventions that I saw every year. Um, he liked He liked, he liked Rocky Horror Picture Show. That was, like, his favorite movie. He loved Tim Curry and Meatloaf in that movie. He loved dancing to the Time Warp song at, uh, at the 10 Forward parties. That was his favorite thing about the conventions, to the t Um, his 2 vices were Mad Libs and Texas Hold'em poker, which is why every year at these conventions, they would have a Texas Hold'em poker tournament with all proceeds going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in Robbie's name, and, um, and that was just after he passed away, and then, uh, um not too long after the Texas Hold'em poker tournament came around, or somewhere before that, the Far Point Convention Masquerade named the most original award after him. It's called the Robbie Greenberger Originality Award, and it's a very, very big deal. And as of right now, I would like a check from CCBC, and I may or may not use that for Costume Con, but just to be on the safe side, I want to save some money for textbooks and for classes next semester. I've been debating about this, whether or not to drop out of school, but as far as I'm concerned, and as far as my parents and my boyfriend and my friends are concerned, I've got to realize how much stress it's caused me. My therapist has said that maybe it's better if I cut back. My DSS counselor, my disabilities counselor, um, has told me that maybe it would be a good idea to talk to financial aid and see if I could only go part time and still get financial aid. But because I have a bachelor's degree from Towson, I'm technically not allowed to, because if I have a college degree and I'm at the age of 30, the age I am now, um, as much as I hate to say it, I don't want to be 30, but I'm in constant denial right now, um, because I'm over 25 and because I have a college degree already and I'm going back to school to get my associate's degree. Um, just will not give me any scholarships or grants, and they refuse to give me any type of financial aid, even student loans or scholarships or grants, unless I actually go full time or half time. And the minimum requirement is 12 credits. That's about 4 classes, 3 credits each. And school system in Maryland sucks. So, yeah, just to put this out there, I won't go into details, but as far as I'm concerned, I was bullied from K through 12. My The Perry Hall High School system pretty much failed me, especially since I didn't get a diagnosis until my mid 20s. So, and I mean mental health. That's what I mean. So, anyway, as I was saying, I feel really, really awful that that this happened to Robbie, especially he would have been my age this year. Um, he was a character. He had an incredible, exuberant personality. He was very eccentric. Um, he would participate in masquerades all the time, especially since he did this one uh, masquerade sketch where he dressed as Malfoy, and it was like a combination of Harry Potter and Willy Wonka, and it was hilarious. Everybody was laughing, and more than once he got a few awards. And Robbie was a very sweet friend. I got to slow dance with him one last time before he got the diagnosis when when it was announced that Robbie and Bob Greenberger and when Bob Greenberger announced to the people at Shore Leave that Robbie couldn't come because his cancer came back, I only had a few short weeks to say goodbye, and I couldn't say goodbye to Robbie because he was up in Connecticut and he couldn't really leave his house unless he was getting this. It got very expensive and it was just awful. So the reason why I still want to do the whole reason why I still want to do the campaign that I want to do. I still want to work with bubbles or things with air, or at least happy things, is because I learned that children with leukemia, as well as children with cancer, um, all certain types of cancer and diabetes, especially, and I believe there's a link between diabetes and cancer. There there is a link to that. You know, diabetics are at higher risk for heart attack and cancer. And anyway, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, the bubbles thing. Um, I my bubbles campaign is just going to be called Bubbles for Happiness. I guess I still have to work on that name. I know Bubbles for Asthma was a hit, but I had to discontinue it due to my parents' wishes, and I have to respect that. Anyway, other than that, uh, I still want to do the whole Bubbles campaign because people with cancer and people they can't have any sugar, no candy, no bubble gum, no sugary things, and they're they constantly have to take medicine. Tiffany told me that once you have diabetes, you basically have to be an adult as early as childhood. That's basically when you're out the window and you can't go trick or treating anymore because you're not allowed to have candy because of medical reasons. And, when you have cancer, you're basically stuck in bed all the time and you can't really leave the hospital until until the illness is gone or until your body wastes away, and that's a terrible thing to do to a child. Robbie was only 19 when he got leukemia, and you know leukemia affects people of all ages, and it's a very, very sad thing when it happens to a lot of us or just one of us and it affects your entire family. So that said, I'm still doing the Bubbles campaign. And I think it's going to be called Bubbles for Happiness. It to go along with uh, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for my friend Tiffany's sake, for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and I'm also doing it for Get Her to the Costume Con. And I'm doing that as soon as I get on the ball and start making the finishing touches to my costume. I got to repaint the suspenders again because it's there, so I have to repaint them again. Um, yeah, I found this pair of white suspenders at Hot Topic very recently, and I had to paint them yellow, and I found the perfect shade of acrylic paint, and it was this color called antique gold, and it was in my mother's collection. I didn't have to. It worked really well. It looks like that mustard yellow that Jodie Whittaker wears for her costume. And, oh yeah, speaking of Doctor Who, I just saw the Children in Need special of, Jodie Whittaker going up to this tiny little girl who struggles with cystic fibrosis or CF. And I understand that CF is one of those restaurant in a terrible, debilitating way, and it's just not fair. It's not fair to kids to suffer with CF because you have to take all this medication. You constantly have to visit the hospital. It's basically like you've got lung cancer, but you were born with lung cancer, but it's cystic fibrosis, and you have to be on a special diet. Nothing that doesn't nothing that creates mucus, and if you slip up, then you can end up in the line. This little girl from England who had CF, she got a special visit from the doctor. And she went into the TARDIS. She ended up at the BBC lot where they filmed Doctor Who. And she met the cast and crew of Doctor Who. She got her very own doctor costume. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. And she met the doctor. And Jodie Whittaker was there to having seen calling her a time lady, and Jodie was absolutely thrilled to meet this girl, and it was really sweet. I loved it. It was the most adorable Children in Need special I've ever seen. Thank you, Doctor Who. I love you. um, so yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like 2 minutes to midnight. I'm gonna So that said, I'm not going to do Bubbles for Asthma campaign anymore. It's going to be called something else. And in in that sense, I'm going to make it be about mental illness, about Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which is Tiffany's birthday fundraiser. Um, like I said, it's for Robbie. I had got a big rebate check from CCBC. I'm definitely going to make an effort to make at least a $5 donation to Tiffany because he was a very dear friend of mine, and leukemia is such an aggressive cancerous disease that can only be treated by chemotherapy, radiation, um, stem cell research, and cured by a bone marrow transplant. And it was just really, really sad to see him go, um, especially at such a young age. He wasn't even old enough to drink. So yeah, that's about it. Um, Please look forward to my next Midnight Mania episode, which will be about this. I'm recording it November 23rd. Do or die. I'm doing it no matter what. And hopefully, fingers crossed, my costume will be almost complete. Either I'm going to wear the shirt that I sew ribbons on, and I'm going to be spending all night sewing the ribbon, and then I get to wear my other Doctor Who shirt that my mother bought from me, and it's actually it's much cooler because it's got the TARDIS on it, and it says Doctor Who and the Daleks, and it's really cool. It's got a picture of the TARDIS in the middle of the woods, kind of like Amy Pond's backyard. If you remember season 5 of Doctor Who, that was cool. And other than that, uh, either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, if I'm looking at the calendar right, uh, the next time, anytime that I get online, and hopefully it'll be this weekend, sometime after Black Friday, I will post it and it'll be friends of mine to do the same and just continue the chain. Um, and Tiffany's going to be one of them because it's her birthday. Her birthday is on Black Friday this year. Her birthday is the same day as the Doctor Who anniversary, November 23rd. It's really cool. It's really cool that she was born that day. I find it amusing and cute at the same time. Last year, her birthday was on Thanksgiving, so she yeah, that was fun. So, yeah, just look for my new video. Um, for my new video either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday next time I get online, and everything will be good. Au revoir, bells.